welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley Faith and this is Ashley Faith. Every time I say that, I'm like, wow, you just said your name twice. I'm not out here with a different channel name to my real name, so there you go. Today, the day that I'm filming this video, is the 17th of April, which is the day for the scheduled departure of the March for the Living trip, which was obviously cancelled due to coronavirus. And I want to say it was cancelled back in February, and obviously the organisers were very much concerned about the older visitors and the Holocaust survivors because they're quite old and coronavirus is pretty dangerous to them. So it was cancelled, and obviously it was the best choice for them to cancel it back in February because we're still in the situation now. So I wanted to make a video to sort of talk about the Holocaust and commemorate it on my channel, whilst I won't be able to sort of document on my channel the actual trip, which I will be doing when the trip gets rearranged. We just don't know when that's going to happen. So the first thing that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the essay that I wrote for the scholarship that I received. So I received a scholarship for the trip from UJS, which is the Union of Jewish Students. So I only paid a fraction of the price of the trip whilst they paid the rest for me, which was incredible. So now I'm going to read to you what I wrote because I think it's super important to share how you feel, especially when it's about things like this. So the title of the essay is "The theme for Holocaust Memorial Day 2020 is Stand Together. What do you interpret from this?" For me, the theme is perfect for Memorial Day. I take two slightly different interpretations from this theme. One is a need for both affected and unaffected people to stand together to shed enough light on each issue that arises. In order to make the world a better place, more than just the affected people need to be aware and care about the issue at hand. The second is a need for people not to isolate themselves and stand together with others who feel the same pain. This is almost more important because when people feel pain, there is a tendency to feel alone and like you're the only one who's gone through anything similar. I think this theme is perfect for Holocaust Memorial Day because this is such a huge tragedy and all people should know what happened so that we can learn from the mistakes of the past, so that we can stop anything similar from happening again. So often people will gatekeep on the issues that affect them, so those affected don't have the authority to speak on these issues. Similarly, people who aren't affected feel like it's not their place to speak on matters that don't involve them. However, I think it's important that we always share our issues and help others with their struggles. In this way, sharing problems and fighting for what matters for other people empowers those who are affected. For example, if people who are not Jewish do not speak up about anti-Semitism, we will never see change. If the Allied forces didn't fight to end the reign of the Nazis, then we would have a very different place where evil had prevailed. When everyone comes together to solve issues and make the world better, it happens faster with a solution that is more long-lasting. I have a really emotional reaction to allyship, especially when it comes to modern-day anti-Semitism. I identify mostly with left-wing politics, and so the current situation where the Labour Party is under investigation by the EHRC for allegations of anti-Semitism has really upset me because it feels like my political home has betrayed me. I went to the Together Against Anti-Semitism rally in December in Parliament Square and spoke to many non-Jewish people who were there in support of our community. It was a very special atmosphere. It was a captivating moment when people of other faiths spoke in support of the rally. But for me, the greatest joy was the fact that one of my closest friends who isn't Jewish was there for me. My second interpretation of the theme for this year, Stand Together, is a call for people with the same pain and fears to stand with one another in order to not feel alone. Stand Together is a cry for companions to help support people like themselves. I grew up surrounded by relatively few Jewish people, besides my mother and my brother. Consequently, being Jewish was isolating because it made us different. During Passover, I constantly found myself explaining why I couldn't eat anything that had risen. It made me feel different and alien. As a result, the recent rise in anti-Semitism deeply affected me, and not knowing many Jewish people made me feel like I was the only one it was affecting. However, finding a Jewish community, I felt I could share my pain and also support others. I think many people feel this way. They need others like them to feel like they aren't imagining things or being silly. It's often easy to ignore something when it feels like you're the only one it's bothering, but by finding people who are going through the same things, it can be the spark that you need to get up and do something about it. The solidarity that you can find in a group of people just like you is unmatched when you felt alone for so long. I doubt I'm alone in feeling this way, and so having the theme Stand Together this year will help build camaraderie for Jewish people all around the globe. Overall, this theme means more to me after careful thought in how I should answer the question. At first, I thought it was lovely, but now I think it's an incredibly strong and motivating message to send out. Activism takes this strength to go on when you feel hopeless and beaten down, strength to support yourself and others, and strength to stand up in the face of adversity. Stand Together is for me an embodiment of the strength and compassion that is needed to be an activist and a good person. It might sound a bit cocky, but I get chills when I read that because I spent a long time sort of working out how I feel and then putting it down in words that sounded good. So I was really, really happy when I got the scholarship to go on the trip, because I've never been to Auschwitz, I've never visited a concentration camp, and I feel that's something that with my heritage I really should do. So I was very excited for the trip, and obviously very upset now that it isn't happening this week. So I just needed to talk about it. I needed to share with you why I feel it's important that we do talk about anti-Semitism still, and that we do still talk about the Holocaust. 6 million people died in the Holocaust. Lots of Jews died, but also lots of disabled people, lots of people from the LGBTQ community, lots of gypsy traveller people. Actually, I was part of a panel, but I wasn't on the panel, but I watched a panel, and it was something like 90% of European travellers, gypsies and Roma, were actually killed during the Holocaust. 90% of those people. And that's something that we don't talk about, and I think that's very important, that when as Jews and as people we talk about the Holocaust, we talk about all the victims, because it wasn't just the Jewish peoples, it was anyone that the Nazis didn't like. And that was a lot of people, and a lot of people died, and a lot of people still suffer these days with the pain of knowing what their ancestors and what their family went through, and what people of their community in the past went through. So I think it's really important that we talk about it. I think it's really important that I make this video, and I think when I do get to go on the trip, it's really important for me to share that experience, share how I feel, and share that experience for maybe some people who can't actually go physically on a trip like that, because it is expensive. And I was very lucky to get a scholarship to go, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to afford to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it made you think a little bit, because it's quite sad, but I think it's very important that we think about it. And yeah, so that is the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to hear me talk about my life more, do subscribe and stick around. Do ring the bell if you want to be notified when I upload a video, and comment anything you have to say, because I would be very much interested to hear it, especially about this topic. Follow me on my social medias. My Instagram and Twitter are the Ashley Faith with an underscore on Twitter, and I also have a Bookstagram that is called Ashley Has Faith in Books. Thanks for being faithful. Thanks for watching.